Is America screwed? Right now, 28% of people have less than $1,000 in savings. That means that 28% of people can't afford to put new tires on their car if they absolutely had to. Savings rates have reached an astonishingly low 4.8%, and 1 in 5 people over the age of 50 have nothing saved for retirement. To top it all off, credit card debt is on the rise, with our card balances reaching $1.13 trillion at the start of this year. Is it too late, or can we turn this around? I'm Tanner. A few years back, I was making shitty financial decisions, to say the least. I was thousands of dollars in debt. I was living paycheck to paycheck despite making pretty decent money, and my credit score somehow plummeted all the way below 500. I didn't know how to use credit cards. I didn't know how to save. And at a certain point, I realized something had to change. So I turned my life around. Now I'm debt-free. I'm building for my retirement. And I use credit cards to my advantage. I want to share my story and the tips that I've learned along the way to help you so you don't have to make the same mistakes I made. So without further ado, here are 3 easy financial habits that completely changed my life. All 3 of these habits are part of what I call the triple A. The first A is auto save. Auto saving is pretty self-explanatory. A percentage of your income goes directly into your savings that never even hits your checking. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, savings feels impossible. The whole point is to build that muscle and start to save something. When I was first starting, I went right to saving 20% of my paycheck every month. It ended up being way too much. I started pulling money out all the time, even though I told myself it was going to go back in. It never went back in. So you always want to underestimate instead of overestimate. Start at 10%, then go to 15%, then go to 20%. If you go, let's say, from 15 to 20, and now all of a sudden you can't pay your groceries or you can't do the things that you want to do, go back down to 15 and reassess it later. Do not start that habit. Once you start the habit, it's hard to break it. I feel like when I first started saving, my savings was as good as my checking. They were right next to each other. I could easily transfer the money back and forth, and I would. And so after that, when I actually finally started to consistently save money, when I first was starting, I almost had a thought of what's the point, because I can just transfer it back and forth. Don't start the habit. Auto save. Start lower, work your way higher. The next A is auto pay. Auto pay is where whatever monthly payments or credit cards you have are automatically paid every single month. For my credit cards, I can either select to do the minimum payment or the full statement balance every single month on the due date. This way, it's automatic. You don't have to think about it. When I was a broke 18-year-old, anytime I went to a store like Target, Best Buy, Kohl's, and you get to the checkout line, like, hey, you want to open up a credit card? It'll save you 15% on this purchase. And in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a free $1,000. Why wouldn't I? I get another line of credit? Sure. But now all of a sudden I have my car payment, my rent, all my other bills, and plus all these random credit cards. Whether I didn't know the weight of how much it would impact my score, I didn't care, or I just straight up didn't have the money, they weren't getting paid. So after a while, I have all these negative remarks on my score. My credit score is quickly going down the drain, and I'm going into collections on multiple different accounts. So even if you can only do minimum payments, set up auto pay. Just do the minimum. Obviously, you want to pay the statement. You don't want to pay the interest. The whole point of having a credit card, I think, is to use it to your advantage. Get the points, get the free trips, whatever it is. And if you're paying interest, you're not getting any of that. The interest is, other people's interest is what's paying for those points. So avoid that and just pay in full. But if you absolutely can't, at least pay the minimum balance. The next habit I learned is auto investing. I would have either a Roth, a 401k, a traditional IRA, whatever type of investment account, get one at least set up. I have mine set to where a certain percentage goes directly from my bank account to my Roth account, and then on whatever date that I choose, it'll be invested into either a mutual fund, an index fund, or even like an EFT if I wanted to. When I was first starting to save, I saved a percentage of my income automatically for my regular savings account. And then I had a fixed dollar amount, like $200, that went into my Roth every month. You want to already have an emergency fund saved up. You already want to have a 3 to 6 emergency fund saved up before you're starting to try and max out your Roth. In the beginning, it's all about just getting it going. So don't worry about maxing out your Roth. Once you have at least $1,000 in your savings account, just start doing a little bit at a time. $100 here and there, whatever you can do. Auto investing, like all the other A's in this series, it's automatic. You don't have to think. It's building your retirement for you. It's investing for you. You don't have to look at it even. And it just grows and grows and grows and grows. You want to have an emergency fund saved so you don't have to pull anything out. As you guys can see, these habits are really easy. And although they are basic, it's at least a step in the right direction, and it's going to get you on the right path. This is my first ever YouTube video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to see more content like this from me, like, subscribe. I will see you guys next time. Thanks.